know in other parts of the world. So today I wanted to talk about why your January slump has nothing to do with discipline, and it may not be what you think it is. So I had an experience last week where last two and a half weeks where I felt really exhausted, and I'm not going to go into the whole story because I've got a video coming out about that at the end of the week. But what I did want to talk about was the fact that it is related to something that I hadn't recognised as being part of January for me, and it might well be for you too. So the thing that I've been going through is I have been experiencing a lot of tiredness, and I thought it was physical, and a little bit of it was. But what it turned out to be was some underlying grief that I wasn't aware was surfacing. So I just wanted to talk about that for a few minutes today, and then we'll just open it up to general conversation and go from there. So I was extremely tired, and no matter what I did, no matter how much sleep I had, no matter how much I had some vitamin C, I restarted a supplement that I had stopped. I thought it might have been that helped a little bit, but I still felt this heaviness in my body. I felt so heavy. I felt very achy around here, and it wasn't a virus. I wasn't sick. I just felt like I was dragging myself around. And that might be you this January. And what I discovered was that I had some grief that I hadn't acknowledged. I had gone through the holiday period, watching lots of friends, and what came out of that was some grief surfacing for myself, which I'll go into in my video at the end of the week. But I wanted to talk about grief because it's something that we all live with all the time. Hi, Rhonda. Thank you for joining. Good to have you here. Grief, is something that we experience all the time. And I wanted to read you a little bit from my book, Flourish, just a couple of paragraphs about from the chapter about grief. That is something that I learned. So I remember my therapist saying to me, life is a series of mini griefs, and so it is. We're continually experiencing endings of jobs, relationships, gatherings, classes, and of course, bigger things like death, divorce, serious illness, or maiming and suffering from horrible accidents. Similarly, settling down can bring the loss of our single life, while getting older has us grieving for our lost time and younger bodies and minds. These are all changes we go through, but often we are not aware we have intense feelings about them that linger. All the while, our emotions associated with the loss are simmering away underneath as we go about our lives. Left smouldering away in our subconscious, our feelings of grief can emerge in other ways. We can project them unconsciously onto others. We might get extra grumpy when someone leaves something on the floor, or when we're waiting at the traffic lights, we may feel ourselves full of rage. If we can bring our unconscious feelings about our grief into our conscious minds, we can begin to see how they impact us. We can then process those feelings and choose our response rather than reacting. We can understand we are grieving and how it impacts us, and we can manage it better. We can deal with those feelings rather than suppressing them. So that has been my experience in the last few weeks. And as I say, I'm going to go into it more in a video on Saturday, but just wanted to touch on grief this morning because maybe you're experiencing a little low period or some sadness or just some underlying thoughts around watching others go through the holiday period in a way that perhaps you might have wanted to. You might have started a new year. One of my subscribers mentioned that her daughter is going off to university, has just gone off to university to, make her own way in her life. And, I don't have children, but I can imagine that is massive. And a number of, my YouTube friends here have described that their friends have gone off, their children have gone off, either to get married or to go to college or to do something else. And, there is grief attached to all of those scenarios where we have a big change in our lives. And it's important that we acknowledge it and we feel the feelings fully. My feelings sure came out a few days ago, and I will go into that in the video that I'm bringing out at the weekend. But for me, that is the only way through, is to really go into and express those feelings fully. Hi, Laurie. Nice to have you here. So, yeah, just keen to know how your January is going, how you're feeling. As I said, I definitely had that January slump. I've got through it now. Back to progressing with the year, which is really lovely, having started offering my coaching again, and just looking forward to the rest of the year. So if you've experienced a little grief or a big grief, let me know if you're comfortable talking about it. If you feel there's something that you have done to deal with grief that has been really helpful in your life. I know for me, journaling is one way that I have dealt with it for many, many, many years, for decades, and it is incredibly helpful, as is going right into that emotion and, crying if I need to, finding sometimes there's some anger underneath that needs expressing. And, a way my therapist taught me to deal with that was to scream in the car. She said, you're driving along, and if you have a good scream, which I've done many, many times, it releases that emotion. It moves that emotion through our bodies. And, she said to me, well, anybody driving next to you, they won't know that you're not singing. They'll have no idea that you're not. And I thought, wow, that's such a great tip. And, I've used that so often. So those are a few little ways that I process grief. And sometimes putting on music that I know will make me get very upset. I used to do that a lot when I was in the midst of my therapy. And whilst it was painful, it helped me express it. It got me through it. I knew I was going to cry. I knew that music was going to make me sob deeply. But as time went on, as I released more and more of that emotion associated with that grief, that didn't happen nearly so much, and then it didn't happen at all. There were times when I was much, much younger, when I couldn't talk about my mother without bursting into tears, and this was 10, 12 years later when I hadn't dealt with any of the grief. It was all still there. Every single bit of it was still there. And as I dealt with it slowly over years, off and on in therapy, it certainly made a massive difference, and I came out the other side of that. Laura, yes, journaling was a season of my life, and I kept grief journals. Yeah, it can be such a powerful, powerful way. And, there are so many ways of journaling, aren't there? I've used a dialogue a lot between my inner child and my adult self. It might be with my 5-year-old self. It might be with my 15-year-old self. This dialogue, just as though I'm actually talking to that part of me. And that can be really powerful. Just writing out whatever's on my heart or in my mind or in my soul, just absolutely going for it with no punctuation, no capital letters, no nothing, just absolutely going for it. And, that's a great way. Automatic writing, where you take a few breaths, stop, just center yourself, and then write without without any restriction at all, just letting it flow and asking yourself, what does my soul need? And then answering that question. I always find that really surprising what comes out. Laurie, but my number one way is running. Yeah, I need to move. There were times I needed to force myself. Yeah, running, something I used to do years ago too, Laurie, and now it's walking. But it's just physically moving, isn't it, that makes a big difference. And, the screaming and the crying, that physically moves it through our body as well. But, yeah, running is something that many people use. And I remember, my therapist used to say to me, as you're running along, put those circumstances on the pavement, and you're running, you're stomping down your feet on those circumstances, not the people, the circumstances around, what's happening in your life, and how you're feeling about it, and pounding that out on the pavement. And that was so, so beneficial. Hello, blah, welcome, hello. Welcome to my live stream. I don't know that I've met you before, but I'm Kathryn. I'm in New Zealand, so thanks so much for joining. It's lovely to have you here. That tearfulness happened to me so much last month. Yeah, it happens a lot at that time of year. Leading up to Christmas and the holidays. I remember for me for so many years, after starting to deal with my mother's death. Birthdays and Christmas were so, so difficult. My mother always made a really big deal out of Christmas, and I missed that so much. And once I started dealing with the grief, it came out even more. So, this time of year is really, really hard. Rhonda, when I was in therapy, my therapist encouraged me to embrace the grief. Yeah, he told me to run a bathtub full of water and embrace the grief. Cry till I was spent, and then drain the tub and watch the water. Oh, I love that. I love that, Rhonda. That is so awesome. I don't know how much time I spent in a bathtub when I was in therapy. I remember my therapist saying, after you've released that grief or that anger, do something really nurturing for yourself. And one of those things I used to do was run a bath and put candles and a bubble bath, and dim the lights, and just make it a beautiful, gentle, nurturing space. And that was something that, I did so often over those years. But I love that, Rhonda, of crying in the bath and watching that water go. That is really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Rhonda, with my tears and the grief drain away, this process was very helpful to me to get the grief out. Yeah. Love that, to talk to your inner child. Yeah, that's something that I've done for many years in the written form. I've done it more so in the last 3 years verbally. So I have, for a long time, probably for about 12 months, most days I had a conversation with my inner 5-year-old and my inner 15-year-old. And that is so powerful. So that was building that relationship between those parts of myself and my adult self. Because what we find is that much of what we experience in our adult lives goes back to an experience as a child. So I'm just trying to think of an example. I mean, there are many, but, for me, I'm not one to be in big crowds, and I don't enjoy it so much. I can do it and I can talk to people, but I don't enjoy it so much. And for me, that goes back to being part of a really big family where it was noisy and chaotic, and, being, an empath, being highly sensitive. I prefer one-on-one relationships. I prefer to go deep one-on-one with somebody than experience a big group of people. I mean, I'll still do it, but that's just my preference. And if I'm going to that sort of event, I can feel quite anxious. And if I'm driving there, I'll have a conversation with my inner 15-year-old and my 5-year-old, and I'll just check in and I'll say, hey. And I call my 5-year-old Kathryn and my 15-year-old Kat, because that's my nickname in my family. And I'll just say, hey, Kat, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? And the response I'll get might be, I'm really nervous about going to this event. And it's a connection. I know that's where it's coming from. Or my 5-year-old might say that. She might say, oh, God, who's going to be at this event? And I'll say, it's okay. I'll handle it. I can do this. I know that it really frightens you, or it makes you really anxious, but I can do this. And, it's going to be okay, and I'll take care of you, and you just go off and play, Kat and Kathryn. Kathryn, and you just go off and carry on doing your thing, Kat, and I'll handle this. So that's just a little example of how I use that in my life. And I still to this day have a conversation with the two of them, probably at least 2 or 3 times a week. And you're in the US, LA, blah, and you just popped up. Fantastic. I'm so happy I did. Yeah, isn't that a great suggestion, Laurie? I loved Rhonda's suggestion too. Oh, cool. You're expecting bath stuff from Amazon today. Awesome. So, Laurie, all related to your inner child. Yeah, there's so much that our younger selves can teach us and can help us understand about what's going on for us today. It's just, it's mind-blowing how that helps me in my everyday life. Yeah, incredible. Rhonda, my therapist, also did inner child work. Such a positive experience with me, and that was 30 years ago. Yeah, 30 years ago for me too. 35 years ago for me, Rhonda. Yeah, when I started doing that work, and something I realised probably about, after I came out of therapy, I didn't continue doing that work, and I did it sporadically. So I did it off and on, and it wasn't. It was helpful when I did it, but it wasn't until about 3 years ago when I really got back into that after working with an intuitive healer, and she did a lot of inner child work, and I restarted that dialogue and really, really kicked it up a notch and did it every day, for, as I said, about a year, and pretty much every day. And that became a solid habit, because that's what happens with habits. If we start a new habit, if you can do it for a year, fantastic, and it's more than likely you'll continue it. That's something I've done, for a year and continued. Another thing I've done is, I heard about this new habit about standing on one leg when you brush your teeth to help with your balance. So you stand on one leg, you balance while you're brushing your teeth. So do your upper teeth, change legs, and do your lower teeth, and it helps with your balance. And at the first, it was really, really hard, and I've been doing that for more than a year now. And I do it most days. Some days I forget, or I'm in a hurry, or I'm tired, but most days, and gosh, it's made a huge difference. And I added a few things to it. I thought, okay, while I'm doing that, I'm going to engage my core, and I'm going to look in the mirror and tell myself that I love myself. And I just added some things onto that. Atomic Habits, isn't it? Habit stacking is. Someone remind me of the author of Atomic Habits. Love that book. I think you mentioned it the other day too, Laurie. Such a great book. But habits, yeah, if we can get into a habit and really cement it, years ago I remember reading that a habit was like 21 days, but for me personally, it's been much longer than that, a good 3, 6, even 12 months, and it's really cemented. It's a bit like my daily meditation as I go to sleep. Now I feel really strange if I don't put my meditation on as I'm going to sleep, and I've been doing that for 3 years, just over 3 years, every single night. Evie, hello. Muddy Puddles Farm, welcome. Nice to have you here. LA Bloor, I need to turn the emotional off, turning certain situations. Any suggestions? So, yeah, sometimes we need to, we need to go about our daily lives, don't we? We need to go to work. We need to go to a meeting, deal with something where we can't handle that emotional stuff there. Some of the things that have worked for me in the past when I was in therapy was to journal it out. If I was driving to a meeting, and I felt emotional, it was to let some of that out. It's a bit like, I remember my therapist describing it as a pressure cooker or a pot boiling. If you leave the lid on the pot, it bubbles away and eventually it boils over. If you let it off just a little bit, there's relief and it won't boil over. So if you're driving to an event, say, and you're feeling sad, put a song on and let yourself just have a little tear, or just sink into that feeling in your solar plexus down here, which is where your solar plexus is. Just put your hands there firmly, or you can put one hand there, one on your heart, and just breathe. Do some deep breathing and just acknowledge that sadness. Say, I'm feeling really sad. And just sit with it for just a few seconds. If you're feeling uptight and a bit angry, it's like, this is really, whatever it is, I'm feeling really frustrated about that. I'm feeling really annoyed. You might have a little scream, in your car. Something that can get it out. James Clear. Thank you, Laurie. Yes. Just get that out, and that will, or do some journaling, do some quick journaling. For years and years and years, I went through my life carrying a journal absolutely everywhere. I journaled through my life, as I say. I used to be a flight attendant. I started in 1989 for our national airline, and I traveled the world as a flight attendant, and I never went anywhere without my journal and my pen. On the aircraft in the night when we had our rest time, I would journal. When I was at the hotel, I would journal. When I was out sightseeing, I would find a beautiful spot by a temple in Japan and I would journal. I literally didn't go anywhere with it. It was just a small journal, so I could carry it easily, and a pen. Of course, I didn't have smartphones and notes and all of those things in those days. So for so many years, I journaled my way through my life, and boy, was that powerful. Maria, you watch a TED talk about starting new positive habits. It's a game changer. It is a game changer for sure. And, from my experience too, just one habit at a time. I no longer put myself under a lot of pressure, to do a lot of things. At the moment, having just restarted my coaching offering, which I'm so excited about, and it was wonderful to have an amazing client yesterday, and I loved every minute of the session, and so did she. And I am just so grateful for that client and what we shared together, and I'm so excited about going forward with my coaching now, tweaking this channel a little bit to talk more about personal growth, because I have so much to share. And, in days gone by, I've been thinking about this the last 24 hours, and days gone by, I would have started building a website yesterday. Actually, I've got my old one still. It's just not up. I would have started changing that. I would have started doing some blogging. I would have started promoting my coaching here, there, and everywhere. Restarted my Facebook page, which has got 20-odd thousand subscribed, followers. Restarted my Instagram, which has got 3,000 or 4,000. I would have gone crazy, and I would have pushed myself hard. But you know what? I'm not pushing myself hard. This has flowed. This has really, really flowed, and I'm just going to let it flow. I'm going to continue with my gentle new habits, my meditation I started a few years ago, my inner child work, my balance whilst brushing my teeth. I'm just going to continue with those things that have been so beneficial for me. And I don't need to push myself anymore. I don't want to. Laurie, when I have emotions, I visualize putting the emotions in a box and let them know I will come back to them later. Brilliant. I love that, Laurie. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, the breathing does wonders for our nervous system. Yeah, so that deep breathing is really incredible. Box breathing is brilliant. I have used that a number of times, over the years. So you just breathe in to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, breathe out to the count of 4, and then hold to the count of 4, and then again and again and again. And if you have a smartwatch, is that what they're called? I've got Apple Watch, you can actually watch your heart rate go down as you do that. It's really fascinating, and it's so good for the nervous system. Evie, I used to have a God box. Cool. Write anything that bothered me on a small piece of paper and put it in the box. Love that. Yeah, that's a really great thing to do, isn't it? Like a worry jar, I think, is something that I've heard before. I love that, Evie. Hi, Zeld. Welcome to my live stream. I don't know that you've been here before, but it's lovely to have you. Thank you. We've been talking about grief and habits and how to deal with grief and emotions, particularly post-holidays. Sometimes in January we can have a bit of a slump where we're just not sure what's going on, and I've certainly had one this past couple of weeks, and I'm going to share more about that in my video on Saturday. But today just wanted to touch on this, and I've read you a little bit from my book Flourish about grief. So yeah, and I did just want to check my phone briefly because I thought Tracy might be here, but she's not, and I'm just hoping she can see us if she wants to be. I don't have a message from her, so she might be busy, but I'll just send her a quick WhatsApp to see if she is okay, because she's had trouble with seeing us all and seeing our comments. Great. Everything froze. Is it me? No, I think we're all good now. It might have frozen for a minute maybe, but I think we're all good now. Karen, hi. Welcome, my fellow Kiwi. Nice to have you here. Karen, we've been talking about the post-holiday slump that we can often have when we, feel a bit tired and, a bit of a slump, a bit disgruntled I've had it the last few weeks, and how sometimes that can be associated with grief. So we've been talking about that, about habits. So welcome. Is it all good now, Laurie? Yeah, I think it might be. So yes, it's my first time. Lovely to have you here. Where's everybody from? I know where some of you are from, but that might be really nice for each of us to pop in the chat where we're tuning in from, because it's always really fascinating to me, and I know it is to everybody else, where you're tuning in from. So has anybody got a new habit, or let me say hobby, because I know you have, Evie, that they've started in January that they're enjoying, that they're finding helpful and useful, that they want to share with us? I'm trying to think what I've been doing that's different. Oh, I know. The last 2 Sundays, Craig and I have taken our camper van over to, we took it to one beach last week and a different one the week before. And we took it over to the beach early in the morning. We went for a lovely walk, and we took ingredients with us to cook lunch. I cooked a big omelette with salmon and parmesan, and what else did I have? Some fresh herbs, and we had that with some salad. And then we just sat in the back of our camper van with the back doors open, looking out at the ocean, just chilling out. And it's been so lovely. We did it 2 weeks in a row, and kept driving home on Sunday. I said to Craig, how about we do this as a weekly thing? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that each week in our van. We're going to just go to a local beach or somewhere by the water, because we love being by the water. We have a view of the sea here, which is about a 7-kilometre drive away. So we're going to do that. So that's a new little thing for us and a new little habit. You're Zayden. Hi, welcome. Yep, you're good, Laurie. Great. So yeah, if you've got something new that you're doing, let us know. Yes, Laurie, it is hard. Oh, Laurie, sorry, Evie. It is hard with YouTube names, isn't it? It's hard to sometimes to know, where to divide the names. And yeah. So Laurie, Evie is in Texas, that's right. And Laurie, now, are you in New England, New Hampshire? I'm trying to remember. I'm in New Zealand, of course, in the Bay of Plenty, which is about 2/3 of the way down the North Island in New Zealand. So we live on 3/4 of an acre in the country. Laurie, we haven't camped overnight with these last trips because they're just sort of in public spaces where you're not allowed to camp. But we do go camping in our van a lot, yeah. So we've had it just over 3 years, and we've done 2 South Island trips of 5 weeks in length. We did one last winter, which was fantastic. In winter, it broke the winter up. It was great. And our winters in New Zealand, whilst they can have heavy snow in the South Island in some parts, you're still mostly able to get around. I mean, there are places we went to last year where we could have been snowed in, perhaps for a few days, which would have been fine. But we were lucky that didn't happen to us last year, and we had it really broke up the winter. Sometimes winter, midwinter can be a bit, it can feel like a long way to spring. And so we took 5 weeks out and went to the South Island. Saw lots of new things, did lots of hiking, experienced living in a colder climate in winter, which was wonderful. So yeah, it was really great. And then the year before we went in the summer, had that experience in the South Island. And we've done many other trips. We have lots of little favourite spots that we go to for 2 or 3 nights or a week. We have a lovely wine region in the Hawke's Bay, which is about 4 hours from us. We go there a lot. We love that. There are some beautiful high-end restaurants there that we like to go to sometimes. We might go to 1 or 2. They're a bit expensive, so we don't do a lot. But yeah, that's something we enjoy doing. So yeah, we love our van, and we'd like to. We converted it ourselves. Craig used to build caravans, so we converted it 3.5 years ago. We'd love to do a bigger one, but not just yet. Maybe next year. Zayden, it's 1:30 a.m. Yes, Evie has a channel. I think a lot of the people here have got a channel. If you want to pop in what your channels are about, that's cool with me. That's fine. If you want to put a link in, even, that's fine with me as well. I'm totally fine with that. I think, the more we can help each other out, if there's a channel we're interested in, as our mentor, Rob the Maritimer, says, and I think it's quite right, just following people because they're in a live stream is perhaps not the best thing for our channel if we're not going to watch, but go and check each other's channels out, and if you like it, subscribe if it's the type of content that you like watching. So yeah, happy for you to share about your channels. I think if we can help each other, that's really, really good. Muddy Puddles, I made some big changes last year, sold up and got my piece of land and spend my days exactly where I want to be. Yes, you did too. That is so wonderful. What an amazing thing to do. LA Blah, a few days ago, I got a large purple tumbling mat, about 4 inches thick, exercising on it. It's awesome. Plan to make an exercise routine to look forward to using it soon. Fantastic. So do you have a channel? Is that about exercise, or is this just something personally? Laurie, I've started keeping a to-done list for 2026 instead of a to-do list. Yes, I split my time between Massachusetts. Did I get that right? And New Hampshire. Right. That's right. Yeah. I love the to-done list, Laurie. I know I have a diary on the bench that just things for the day. And there's nothing I love more than writing things down and crossing them off. And if I come to the end of the day and I've done something that wasn't on the list, I put it down and I cross it off. So because it's just so much fun doing it. It's the physical doing it, I think, is really, really good. I prefer that I have things in my calendar too. I live my life by my calendar, but being an ex-corporate, and I love that as much, but there's something about crossing something off with a pen that I really love as well. Yes, Evie Eden. I have, but I didn't use it because I'm a student and studying. It felt selfish. My life has always been about looking after others, but my kids are all grown up and actually were really happy for me. I bet they were. If it's something that you've always wanted to do, I bet they were so happy for you. That is, oh gosh, the amount of people I see who have, had their families, had their careers, and they're now doing something for them later, in their lives, whether it be in their 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s even, is just so inspiring. It's amazing. I love it. I see, these people traveling the world, buying these rural properties, starting businesses, starting YouTube channels, in their later years, and it is just so inspiring. Karen, Rob did a really good video on watching videos. Yes, I saw that this morning, Karen. It was really good. Yeah. So no channel, and I blow. That's fine. Zayden, you're looking so happy. It's good to see you happy and laughing. Oh, thank you. It's always good to laugh, isn't it? I mean, I'm a strong believer that we are meant to experience a range of emotions all the time. And that could be in 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, whatever it is, depending on what's going on for us. And the more I do that, the more joy I experience and the happier I feel. So in years gone by, I was a person who would have comments like, gosh, what's so bad? Why do you look so serious? Or smile more, life's not that bad. But for me, as a 20-something-year-old who had lost her mother when she was 12 and had buried all the grief, I didn't know how to be happy. I wasn't happy. I was devastated. I was miserable, and I was heartbroken, and I couldn't be happy. So as I worked through things in therapy, and I've continued to do my inner work for almost 40 years. It was 1987 that I read You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and that helped me start to change my life, because I don't believe that books and other people and things change our lives. I believe we do. Those tools give us the information that we need to change our lives, and we change our lives by using that information well. And I read that book at the suggestion of a colleague, a wonderful Canadian lady that I worked with, and she was my mentor at that time. She knew she was a motherly figure. She was probably 20 years or 10 or 15 years older than me, and she was really a motherly figure. And she helped me at that time and suggested I read that book, and I did, and it changed the way I thought about life. It showed me that there were other ways of approaching things, of thinking about things. And I read some more books the next 2 years, and in 1989 I left my first marriage and I went into therapy because I wanted to save myself. I didn't want to save the marriage, even though I feel sad to say that still. I had gone into that for, probably not the right reasons, being quite unconscious at that time. But, I learned a lot, and I went on to grow. And the more I have, over the years, processed my deep emotions that sat deep inside, the lighter I've felt, the happier I've become, and the more joy I experience every single day. So, that's a long answer to that little comment. Kathryn started watching your older content. Really happy you republished. Thanks, Laurie. Yeah, so I'm hoping to hoping to integrate the older content into my vlogs. I have been doing sort of homestead type vlogs, but I really want to incorporate the personal growth stuff. So you'll be seeing B-roll, of things I'm doing at home, but there'll be a message about something that's going on for me in those vlogs that I put out on a Saturday morning New Zealand time. And I'm going to be doing these live streams twice a week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, which in the US is Mondays and Wednesdays at the same time. The next one is up, so it's there for 2 days' time. And I might do the odd walk and talk, just if I'm out and about or if I'm at the beach and there's something comes up and I just want to record it, I might do the odd walk and talk. I'll see how I go. But yeah, hoping that will kind of bring those things together and mean that I can really share what I've learned all these years, as well as sharing, my home and the things I love that I have brought into my life over the last few decades. Muddy puddles. Yes, Rob's video was great. I agree. And he's getting close to 100,000 subscribers. It is so exciting, but he's going to have to swim in winter in Canada. So he said to us a long time ago that when he reaches 100,000 subscribers, he's going to go for a swim. And he's getting close. So I think he's going to have to swim either in January or February. So, and he's going to record it. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Poor Rob. I bet he's wishing he did it in summer. And I write in calendar journal in pencil to erase, the to done. Very satisfying. That's cool too. I love that. That's awesome. Zayden, yesterday I show you my grandma. We talk a lot about you. Oh, that's really cool. You showed my video to your grandma. Oh, that's really... Zayden, what country are you in? I didn't see that flash up if you put it, sorry. I need to get me some more stickers to put by my done items. Oh, that's a cool idea too. I love stickers. I loved stickers as a child. My inner 5-year-old loves stickers. Yeah. Can you see me grinning? She's grinning right now too. So that's how the inner child stuff comes out, and it's so cool that we still do it, with our hobbies, with our painting and our drawing and I don't know, whatever, pottery some people do and all sorts of things that we can really enjoy. I've got some watercolor pencils. So I've got a few watercolors, but not many, but I've got watercolor pencils and I've used them once or twice. So I'm going to start using those and yeah, just started doing some drawing with those. I started watching a couple of little videos. So I just need to block out some time in my calendar so that I can do that. And yeah, looking forward to that. I've been inspired by Tracy with an IE, her watercolors, and also by with Evie with her watercolor painting. So Pakistan, that's right. Now, okay, yes. Now I think you have commented on my videos, haven't you? I'm sorry. Yes, that is right. Yes, I'm with you now. Yeah. So we've got people from all sorts of different places, which is so cool. Karen, that's lovely, Kathryn, about you and Craig doing day trips to the beach in your van. Yeah, it's been really good. I've loved it, Karen. And yeah, we're going to make it a weekly thing. So, and last Sunday we got up in the morning, it was raining and I got up and I thought I was really disappointed. And I thought, because I get up before Craig and I was disappointed. And I thought, Craig's not going to want to go today. It's wet and maybe it's not a good idea anyway. And he got up and I said to him, do you still want to go? I said, you probably don't, And I said, I'd still like to. And he said, yeah, why not? So it was really cool. And so we got there and it worked perfectly. So we got there, we parked up and looked out on Waihi Beach. And I've got some little video clips of it, so I'll include it sometime in the next few weeks in my vlog. And we just sat there and chilled out and I cooked us lunch, as I said. And then it cleared up And it was a beautiful afternoon. It was windy and a little bit of cloud, but it was blue skies and cloud and sunny, and it was gorgeous. And then we went for a lovely big walk. Sid was with us, took him for a walk, and then put him back in the van because he's not allowed on the beach this time of year. And then we went for a walk on the beach, which was really lovely. So, yeah, it was really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to this week and thinking of different places we can go each Sunday, which will be really awesome. Hello, blah. I have watercolour stuff too. It's good for the brain. Yes, anything like that is good for the brain, isn't it? Oh, thanks, Karen. Yes, I'll give myself a plug. Remember to click the like, people. Thank you. That's awesome. Zayden, yesterday New Zealand cricket team won the match in series. I was too happy because it was my favourite team. Oh, did we? I didn't even know that. I don't follow cricket. Yeah, we do pretty well in the cricket at times. That's right. Zayden, I'm with you now. You're training to be a doctor and you want to come to New Zealand to work. I remember. That would be so cool. I've got a friend in Bangladesh who I've had for about 3 years, and he's in his 20s, and he helped me with my website a few years ago, and we became really good friends. And we communicate often, and he is currently trying to go through the process to come to New Zealand to work as a healthcare assistant. So I've just been helping him do his resume, which has been cool, and hopefully he's going to be able to come to New Zealand too, which would be amazing. Laurie, well, I'm still here, but taking you running with me, so may not be able to be in the chat. Hope you'll have a good week. Awesome, Laurie. Have a good run. Enjoy. I love my walks. I don't run these days, but there's probably no reason why I couldn't do a little bit of jogging, you know. Let me ponder that. Enjoy your run, Laurie. It gets too dark here early. That's the only reason. Yeah. Oh, absolutely understand that. Yeah, I'm sure it. Oh, yeah, because you're probably 4 or 5 hours ahead, so it's probably about 2 o'clock for you or something, or even more. Sorry, not ahead, but a day behind. That's how, in New Zealand, that's how, when I was a flight attendant, that's how we always looked at the time in the US. So when I was flying to Los Angeles, for example, I would know that they were 4 hours ahead, but a day behind. So like right now, it would be 10 to 10, but it would be 10 to 2, but it was yesterday. So, and that's the only reason I get my head around the US time zone is because being a flight attendant for 5.5 years or whatever it was, I got into the habit of that. So everybody's saying goodbye to Laurie. Have a great week. Rhonda says, LA Blah says, nice meeting you, Laurie. Oh, Laurie's back. Love the sticker idea. Cool. Zayden, and your grandma told me that she is very energetic and hardworking. Oh, said that about me. Yeah, you remembered about that. That's great. I will meet you if I come to New Zealand. Yes, absolutely. I imagine you'll probably come to one of our biggest cities. I live in New Zealand's 5th largest city, which is Tauranga, which I think I have told you. I'm not sure. That's where I live. So, yeah, it'll be wonderful to meet you. How much longer have you got to go in your studies, and when do you think you might come to New Zealand? So, yeah. So what is everybody up to today, this afternoon, this evening? I am going out to meet a friend for coffee today. So I have this friend is older than me. She's probably in her mid-70s, I think. She's an artist. She's a vibrant woman who is full of full of smiles and laughter and great ideas. She used to be an entrepreneur. She sells her art. She lives by the beach in our resort town here, and we're going to meet up I met her through a friend's farewell dinner about 15 years ago. We haven't had coffee for quite some months, so we're going to meet up for coffee today going to meet her at 10:30. It's now 10 to 10. I need about 15 minutes to get there. I'm all ready. I just put my shoes on. And after that, I'm going to go and do a little bit of charity shopping. Always love that. I've got this mug thing going on at the moment. So, and what else? And I'm collecting jars for my pantry. So I'm using repurposed jars, and I'm collecting ones that are all the same. Yeah. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to then get some rain, and we're going to get 3 days of heavy rain, 120 millimetres, whatever that is in inches. It's a lot. Let me put it into Google and see. 120 millimetres in inches is 4.7 inches of rain we're going to get in the next 3 days, which is a lot for us. We're having a crazy summer, which they predicted, and the weather pattern, I think, is quite strange around the world this year. But yeah, so that's my day. And then the next couple of days, try and get out for a walk between showers. And some of the rain's not going to be too heavy. So yeah, be able to get out. Satan, this is my last year of study here. Then I'll apply for my bachelor. Okay, so do you do your... Oh, where do you do your bachelor? Do you do that there, or will you do that here? Satan, okay, good night. I'm going to sleep. Okay, thank you for joining. So lovely to see you here. I'm here same time, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. New Zealand time. Karen, lots of rain around the north at the moment. Yes, yes. Have you got it down there, or is it just up here? I'm not sure if you're getting it down there or not. I've got a friend who just went to Christchurch yesterday, so they drove down, went on the ferry last night, and they got through without the rain, which is great. So yeah, none there in Wellington. Okay. So everyone, we are just coming up on an hour. So is there anything else that you'd like to talk about this morning? The wind is getting up out there, and it's coming from the opposite direction that it usually does. So yeah, that's a sign the rain is not too far away. Oh, Karen, tell us about the coaching I'm doing. Yes, okay. So I qualified as a coach in 2013 or 15, I think it was. I have coached off and on since then. Did some when I launched my book as well. So I've coached on different things. When I had my copywriting business, I used to coach people in business writing. When I had my furniture painting business, well, I was teaching then, so that was different. I didn't do any coaching at that time. But when I had my, when I wrote my book and had my coaching business before that, I did coaching. I had some clients who wanted business coaching, and I had some clients who wanted personal coaching. So I did a bit of both. So with the client that I had yesterday, we did some YouTube coaching, a little bit of YouTube coaching, and we did mostly business coaching. So that client is wanting to build a business alongside their YouTube channel. So we talked about all of that, about very high level goals that are so important to start off with, and things to start thinking about before you even create a strategy for your business. So we talked about that yesterday, a bit of YouTube. There were some things I could help her with there. And and then we touched a little bit on, ways to monetize, ways to build a business, because it's really important in a business to have many different revenue streams. So yeah. Oh, yeah, Laurie did. Yeah, it was Laurie. Yeah. So Laurie did do a session with me. That's right. She said on her live, so it's okay to put it public. I mean, as a coach, of course, we never talk about clients. You don't disclose who you're working with, unless, of course, they disclose it publicly, like Laurie did. So she thoroughly enjoyed the session and got a lot out of it. So that was really, really great. So I'm very excited to be doing that again. I have a 30-minute session, which is a pick my brain, fire a whole lot of questions at me, which is one I used to offer before too. I've got a 1-hour session, which is a more in-depth sort of strategy. Where are you now and where do you want to be and how are you going to bridge that gap? And, whether that's business in your job or personally. And I've now put up a package where if you book 4 sessions in advance, it's at a reduced rate. So, yeah. And then those sessions can be spaced out, whatever suits you. But for me, when I was building my businesses, I found weekly one-on-one coaching to be incredibly powerful. So, I could really focus on what I needed to do next. I could spend the week implementing those things that my coach had recommended I put in place, and then come back the following week and get the next lot of things that needed to be done. And it wasn't until I started working with a coach one-on-one that in business, I'd done plenty of personal work with coaches and my therapist and counsellors personally for personal development work, but it wasn't until I started working with a coach one-on-one in my furniture painting business that I built a multi-6-figure business. Prior to that, they were smaller businesses that were really just me doing the hours. But with my furniture painting business, I had a product, I ran workshops, I had courses, I had staff that, and I outsourced certain things. So it was in the end a business that I worked on about 5 hours a week and was able to pay myself a really great salary for the time that I put in. So so that's just a little bit about my coaching and what I can offer and what I can help you with if you're interested. And you will find that link over on my channel description. Yeah. So, okay. Comments. Sounds cool. Yeah, it is cool, Karen. I'm really excited to be doing it again. I'm only doing it 1 day a week. I only have 2 1-hour sessions available on a Monday and 2 half-hour sessions available. So that's all I'm doing at this point. I may do more later, not sure. But I only want to work part-time. So, yeah. LA Law sounds so beneficial. Yeah, it absolutely is. Any, Rhonda is here. Rhonda's a coach as well. But Rhonda is a psychotherapist, I think. Did I get that right, Rhonda? Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Weekly coaching can be so powerful. Yeah, I so enjoy working with people to reach their goals. Yeah, it's incredibly powerful. Even when I was in therapy, I used to go, I went twice a week in the beginning because I found the momentum of that weekly, and then I went to weekly. The weekly really, really helps you build momentum quickly. And I'm someone I'm a real doer. So I really, if I've got a project, I really focus and I really get on with it and get it done. And I enjoy the satisfaction of ticking things off the list, getting it done, and coming back for the next piece of information, the next piece of work that I need to do on myself, whatever it might be. Hi, Outdoors. Thank you for joining. Nice to have you here. We're just on an hour and we're going to wrap up very shortly. And we've been chatting about coaching. I've just started offering coaching again. So we've just been talking about the power of coaching. And we've been talking about grief today because sometimes at this time of year, people can have a bit of a low feeling, not sure why. And it comes after the holiday season when perhaps you've seen a lot of other people, with their families, and perhaps you don't have that. And I have an experience that I've had the last few weeks, and I'm going to share in my vlog on Saturday. So, yeah, so I just want to talk about that today. I'm going to be live again in 2 days. So, yeah, nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Rhonda, yes, I do both psychotherapy and coaching, right? And really lean more into coaching rather than therapy. They are 2 different things. Yes, absolutely, they are 2 different things. Yes, completely. So I will wrap it up there today. We are just on an hour, and it has been wonderful to be with you here today. I am so incredibly grateful to you all. Let's just take a nice big deep breath together before we end. So if you want to place your hand on your heart or on your belly, and on your belly, or both on your heart, whatever it might be, and let's just take a nice big deep breath together. I'll put mine on my belly because you might not be able to hear me because my microphone's under here. Okay, so just lower your gaze or close your eyes, whatever you prefer, and just take a nice, big, slow, deep breath in. And blow that out. And just let those shoulders relax. Open your eyes. And have a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll be back here in 2 days' time. I'll be here with my vlog on Saturday. And thank you again.